Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode. Today I'm going to be going over this guy. But this video is much more than just a setup guide. I will be going over, for those of you who are new to hardware wallets, everything that you should be aware of, paranoid of, best tips and practices using hardware wallets. Also, because this Ledger Nano X is Bluetooth enabled and it works with mobile wallets, I will be giving you my thoughts and what you should be aware of with that type of stuff. And also, for those of you who are pretty familiar with hardware wallets, particularly with Ledger wallets, I want you guys to stick around until the end of this video because I will be going over some interesting ways that you can bolster your security practices using Ledger wallets, how to use an extra passphrase and create secret accounts on your Ledger wallets. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely stick around for the end of the video. In the meantime, there will be timestamps down below in the video description so you guys can find the content that you are looking for. But in the meantime, let's get into it. Okay, so wouldn't be a proper setup guide without an unboxing event. Now, this is not my first time using a Ledger wallet. This isn't my first time making a video as a setup guide for a Ledger wallet. This is the Ledger Nano X. My previous videos were the Ledger Nano S. I'm pretty sure that this setup will be very similar to that other video, but regardless, it's a new year. That one is a couple years old, so let's go ahead and check this out. So, taking it out of the box. There you go. I'm sure you really care about this. Okay, there it is. So there you go, quite a bit bigger than the Ledger Nano S. Not quite a bit, but bigger. So there's some differences here between the Ledger Nano S and the X. This is the Ledger Nano X. The buttons here are on the left and right. This is a button and this is a button compared to the Nano S where the buttons are placed on the top. So this comes with the Ledger Nano X hardware wallet, and also the box comes with a nice greeting and a nice USB cable to connect to your computer. And if you guys are really curious, you go towards the very back of the box and you have a handy dandy little keychain. So as we pull these papers out of this little box, we have the recovery sheets, 3 of them. So for those of you who would like to store your recovery phrases in different locations to, in case you lose one, you know where the other ones will be, or if it's damaged or whatever, you can do that. Also, there's other ways that you can store your recovery phrases. Things like crypto steel are really cool. If you don't quite trust ink on paper to be totally permanent, check out crypto steel. Not an affiliate or anything like that. It's just a cool tool that I found recently. We will be getting into the importance of these recovery phrases or mnemonic phrases, as it's also mentioned in the crypto world. But so we're just unboxing here. So we have 3 of these and the USB, the keychain, the USB cord. Okay, so we have our devices, we have our recovery sheets ready, we have our USB device. So let me go ahead and get this sucker plugged in for you. So in addition to having this device plugged into your computer, eventually when you want to, actually this USB cord is shorter, I think, than the other one. Anyway, for those of you who want to, and it's also a USB-C cord, so a Thunderbolt cable. That's interesting. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this device plugged into our computer. You will eventually need to download the Ledger Live app in order to interact with this wallet, to add applications, to view your wallets and your accounts, see what's happening there. But for now, for the installation process, all you need is to plug in the USB device into your computer and then plug it into the Ledger. So it says, welcome to Ledger Nano X, press right button to continue. So it is a little bit different than the Nano S, again with the buttons. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this button. And it says download Ledger Live at ledgerlive.com/start, then press right. I have already downloaded it. Press left or right button to browse through menus and lists. Press both buttons to validate a selection. So it's pretty much giving you instructions on pretty much how to navigate through this device using the two buttons, what they do. So just like the Ledger Nano S, for those of you who use that, you validate or confirm a transaction by pushing both buttons. So the same will be for here. Hold both buttons anytime to access Control Center to power off and more. Again, because this does use Bluetooth, it can therefore be used cordlessly, and so it has a battery life. And so you can figure out how, if you can power it off or let it go to sleep, whichever one works for you. Start Ledger Live to get assistance during setup. So if you are initializing this device for the first time, or this is your first time initializing or setting up any kind of Ledger hardware wallet, if this video isn't doing it for you, you can, in addition, have the Ledger Live app right there with you going step by step. They have some suggestions. Again, I will be repeating the things that they're talking about, but definitely in a much more in-depth way. But so if you feel like you really need to make sure you're doing it right, go ahead and launch the Ledger Live app as you are going through this initialization. So now as you scroll through those little intros, pushing the right button, it gets to the screen that says set up as a new device, restore from recovery phrase, and those are pretty much your two options. So this is either being set up as a new device, as in it will be assigned a new mnemonic phrase, a new recovery phrase, or let's say you have a Ledger Nano hardware wallet and it's been damaged, lost, or whatever, and you want to import your account onto this new device using your recovery phrase, you have that option also. I will be linking to a video up here in the corners for my video talking about what happens if you have a lost, stolen, or damaged Ledger, or any really hardware wallet. So, because this is a new device, I will select Setup as a new device by pushing both buttons. It says choose a PIN code of 4 to 8 digits. Now, as with any kind of a password that you could ever create, the longer the password is, the more secure it is. So in this case, I'm going to recommend that you come up with an 8-digit PIN code, and a PIN code that you do not use like for, let's say, your ATM cards or something like this. Try to keep this as unique as possible. So, okay, hit both buttons. Now I will be entering my PIN code. It's so funny, I'm so used to the two little buttons on the top of the Ledger Nano S that these two side buttons are kind of throwing me off. Anyway, so I will go ahead and set my PIN. And as you are setting your PIN, you use the right and left buttons to scroll either ascending or descending numbers. And if you want to go more than 4 digits in your PIN, you will see, if you're scrolling through the numbers, you're going to see a check mark. Just keep pushing either the left or right button to get past the check mark, and then put additional numbers for your PIN. So now I will confirm the PIN code. Now it says write down your recovery phrase. Okay, now it says to write down your recovery phrase. Please take note, it does not say to take a photo of your recovery phrase. It does not say to write your recovery phrase on your notepad app on your phone or on your computer. It does not say to email yourself the recovery phrase. It does not say to make a digital copy of the recovery phrase. They give you these sheets of paper intended to be written on with ink manually, not digitally, for a reason. This ensures that hackers do not have access to this. If you are super paranoid, you can also make sure that you have your camera covered up on your laptop. If you're filling this out in front of your laptop, you think people could be peeking in. That often happens with laptops. Anyway, keep your camera covered. Be paranoid, pretty much. And so this is one old school way to back up your mnemonic phrase, your recovery phrase. This essentially represents your private keys. That is the main thing a lot of people are concerned about in this cryptocurrency space, and that is the fact of if people have control over their private keys, this is your control over your private keys. Private keys are what enable anyone to control those coins that are stored on the wallet represented with those private keys. So very important. It represents your ownership over those coins. So write down your recovery phrase. I'm going to go ahead and go through this. To confirm that I'm ready to write down my recovery phrase, I will push both buttons. Okay, it says, warning, these 24 words are your only backup. Secure them carefully, which is, again, probably why they give you 3 sheets. If you write your recovery phrase on all 3 of these sheets, don't store these sheets all in the same spot. Pretty much is very redundant, and instead should be stored in different places to make sure that they're all secure. And anyway, decentralize your passphrases if you can. Okay, confirm these 24 words are your only backup. Pushing the right button. Getting into the words, let's do it. Also, please note that they are saying write word number 1, write word number 2, and they are numbered on the sheet of paper for a reason. You need to, number 1, write the words in order, in the correct order that they're giving you them, and you also need to make sure you are spelling them correctly. Any kind of misspelled or out of order word could spell trouble for you if you ever lose this device, if it ever gets damaged, if you ever, for whatever reason, need to import this mnemonic phrase in order to recover your ability to access these cryptocurrencies. You're going to wish or want to know for sure that you did this correctly, and then you can have some less stress in that event. So as I'm writing these down, you can actually navigate back and forth if you think you might have missed one. Hopefully you don't, but you can navigate to the left and right to see the words, the different words and their numbers. Okay, now that you have these words all written down, do not show these words anywhere that has to do with a camera or with people. Keep this very safe, secure, and secret. Also, keep it away from water, keep it away from sun or wind or anything that could damage this piece of paper and ink. Again, it is not exactly deterioration proof. So if you are really looking for something super secure, look for things like seed storage solutions. But I don't know if anyone actually does this, but just in case, if you come across any of these seed storage solutions that require you to give them your mnemonic phrase or recovery phrase or private keys, don't, because that is absolutely a scam. You should be able to input this, your private keys, your backup phrases, your mnemonic phrase. You should be able to input that into the device, however it works, yourself, so that you are not compromising that information in any way. Okay, so I've gone through the words. It says press left to verify your 24 words, press to make sure that you have them all written down in the correct order and the correct spelling and it's the correct word. Make sure you have it all down. It is locked tight. This is your only chance to be able to reference that you have it written down right and still be able to fix it, pretty much. So once you're ready, you can go ahead and push both buttons to continue. Confirm your recovery phrase. Okay, push both buttons again. Confirm word number 1. And pretty much what you're going to do here is scroll either left or right until you find the right word that matches the word that you wrote in that number corresponding order. Once you find the word, you will push both buttons, and then it will move on to asking you the next word and, what number the word should correspond with. So you're going to be going through all of the words. This might take a little bit of time, not too long. I mean, really, if you're doing this by yourself and you are somewhat familiar with hardware devices and you've done this before, it shouldn't take you longer than 10 minutes for this entire process. For those of you who are brand new to this, I encourage you to take your time and go through this video as you're setting it up. And also, if you really need to have the Ledger Live app open as you're doing this, especially if it is your first device, it will again have a guideline for you on your computer. Once you've gone through the whole 24 recovery phrase, confirming again, finding every word that you've written down and confirming it on the device, it says your device is ready with a little check mark. So you can access your dashboard from here, and that's about it. So access dashboard, I'm going to push both buttons, see what happens. It says install app. Control Center, install app. So at this point, this is when you will need to have your Ledger Live application downloaded. So you can kind of scroll through. Initially, it just says on your dashboard, you have the option to install app. When you push both buttons for this, it says use Manager on Ledger Live to install apps and more. And you can go to Control Center by pushing both buttons on at the same time. You will get your battery life readout, the percentage of battery that is left. You will be able to lock your device. Again, if you are on that option, you can push both buttons to select that option. And also you have the Bluetooth. And if you push both buttons here, you can either enable or disable it. So it's not right off the bat, I'm just giving you my live feedback. It's not the most intuitive when it comes to navigating through the device. But you do have a lot more options on this one compared to the Ledger Nano S, again, because this one, I think, it has a lot more storage capacity, so you also have more functionality with that. So under the settings, you have general settings, which includes the name of your device, battery saver mode. You can check the firmware version to make sure that you are up to date. Most of the time, if something is not really working right on your device for whatever reason, most likely you're going to need to update the firmware. Little clue here is the USB cord that they give you to set up within the box is really, really useful, because sometimes I've tried to use, again, with the Ledger Nano S, I've tried to use other cords, micro USB cords that also work with it, and it doesn't really read it. And that has been an issue, is using the legitimate Ledger cord is definitely a good idea to kind of prevent any hiccups in your use. So try to take good care of the cord as well. Also under the settings, you can go to your security settings, and here is where if for some reason you think your PIN number might have been compromised, you can change your PIN, which when you do this, you will still need to remember your old PIN to verify that it's really you changing it. You can also, let's see, there's a passphrase option. It says, this is when, for those of you who are quite familiar with Ledger wallets and you really want to up the security of your Ledger hardware wallet device, this is how you add a 25th passphrase word, pretty much a 25th recovery phrase, something that comes from your brain that has not been generated by Ledger, and something that has never been displayed on a screen, that has never come from anything technological. So in that way, it is much more hacker proof, especially if you come up with a passphrase that isn't necessarily a very common word that you say, or, it's not like your catchphrase or your nickname or something that's super identifiable. Again, I will be going over that again for you guys later on in this video towards the end. But for those of you interested, that is how you access it. You go to the settings menu, I believe. Let's see, how did I get in here? Your control center. You hold both buttons when you're on your home screen, and then you scroll to the settings and you scroll to security, and that is where you find the passphrase. You can also auto lock your device. You can choose to auto lock it after 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So if it's just laying around somewhere, you don't want it to be open, you can have it auto lock. I would not suggest dealing with this hardware wallet in any kind of a, lackadaisical way. Definitely take it seriously, because it is your own bank. It is your vault of cryptocurrencies, especially if you're storing anything that you value on this device. Respect that device. Okay, so from here, once you have this device plugged in, you are logged in, your PIN is in, and you are open, go ahead and open up your Ledger Live application, input your password for the Ledger Live app, and navigate to the Manager tab of the Ledger Live application. And from there, you will see a whole long list of coins, of applications that correspond to the coins that you can store on the hardware wallet device. So for all of the coins that you want to be storing on here, find them on that list. If you can't find the wallet for a coin that you would like to store on a Ledger Nano device on Ledger Live app, it doesn't necessarily mean that that coin is incompatible with this Ledger device. Go ahead and search on other wallet providers for that coin and see if they are integrated with Ledger hardware wallets, and that way you can still interact with the coin. If you are curious of how to do this, if you guys want a video for something like that, please leave a comment down below and I will be happy to make a quick tutorial video on how to store coins on a Ledger hardware wallet that aren't available on the Ledger Live app. If you are interested in that, go ahead and leave a like on this video and leave a comment saying so down below so I know how you guys are feeling. So let's say you want to add a Bitcoin app, you want to add an Ethereum app, and you want to add a Bitcoin Cash app. You can do all of that. You can store up to 100, I believe, different applications on this Ledger Nano X. Something that makes it entirely different from the Ledger Nano S, and that is the fact that you don't have to add and remove applications all the time, risking you forgetting which coins you have stored and have access to with your Ledger hardware wallets. So with this one, you can just stack them all up on there, and it's a lot user-friendly, a lot more user-friendly in that regard. But so let's say you add the Bitcoin application, you will see the little Bitcoin icon on here. You can navigate to the Bitcoin icon using the left or right arrows on your home screen. And then to select it, as always, you push both buttons at the same time. And then once the Bitcoin application is open on your device, and you can go to your accounts on Ledger Live and see the send and receive buttons on the upper right-hand corner of your account. And that is where you will find your addresses. So if you would like to receive Bitcoin, send Bitcoin onto your Ledger wallet device, you will need to be let's say Bitcoin again, you will be in the Bitcoin application on your device. You will be on the Bitcoin account that you have created on your Ledger Live application on your computer, and you will hit the receive button, and there you will see an address where you can send your Bitcoin to. And so here's a little hint for those of you who are nervous for sending any kind of cryptocurrency anywhere. I think it is definitely worth it to be very much aware of what you're doing. By that, I mean to double, triple check that the address being displayed on your computer on that receive tab matches the address being displayed on your hardware wallet. So that concept is important if you are sending coins to this wallet, making sure that you are actually sending it to your hardware wallet. It is also very important if you are sending coins out of this wallet into somewhere else, because this device is what you use to sign your transactions. This device is storing your private keys that gives you access to your cryptocurrencies, and by pushing, when you're creating transactions, to send it out, just like on the Ledger Live application, how it says how we got to the receive, in order to get the address that you would like to send Bitcoin to in order to store it on this device. When you hit send, that is when you are withdrawing the coins off of this device somewhere else. What you are doing when you are confirming that transaction, when it asks you to confirm the transaction, you will be pushing both of these buttons at the same time. That is you using your access to this device, also known as your private keys, to sign the transaction. So you want to make sure that you're sending it all in the same place. If you are also super paranoid, definitely encourage you to send a small amount first, whether it's your first time sending it to that wallet, or if you need to send maybe a large amount of coins for whatever reason, send a small amount first. And once it has been confirmed to be received on the correct wallet, go ahead and continue with the rest of the transaction. It's those two tips are an excellent way to prevent any kind of loss due to human error, which can happen a lot, but making sure that the address is rock solid, definitely the one that you actually want to send it to, and that it actually gets received before you move on with the larger amount, if it is a large transaction. Those are, I think, some really good tips. So if you are having an issue with your hardware wallet, check out the FAQ. Now, unfortunately, for those who are new to this crypto space, you will be having the wake-up call that there is no help desk. It is just you, and it should be an empowering thing, but for people who are not used to that, it might be a little bit scary. So unfortunately, for a lot of people who do have bad experiences with the Ledger wallets, they generally revolve around the fact that they don't get much help when they reach out to the help desk or help center of Ledger. Most often they are, pointed to articles and things like this, or just to, update their firmware or something like this. So anyway, if you are just now initializing your device, I think it's worth it to become familiar with some problems that do often happen, so that if you are ever encountering that problem, you can be somewhat familiar with it and kind of know right off the bat what to do, and the first steps that you can take to try and remedy that situation. So I got a link for the FAQ for those of you who are wondering what kind of tokens you can expect to be storing on this device. There is a link for that as well down below in the video description. It was where you can find all of this information. So in addition to those tips, here's one for those of you who are skeptical about hardware wallets. Here, think about this. Never, ever, ever buy a hardware wallet from another kind of third-party provider. For example, Amazon.com or eBay, or any kind of like a secondhand hardware wallet. Never do that, because there are people who are skeptical of these hardware wallet companies like Ledger, for example, or Trezor. It is a little bit counterintuitive, a lot counterintuitive in this cryptocurrency space to be reliant on like something like someone else creating a wallet for you to use regarding that coin. But at least Ledger.com is a business specifically for this hardware wallet. It's been around since like 2014 or 2016, I believe. 2014. They have a reputation to uphold, and that reputation includes providing safe wallets, because that ensures their continued successful business model. But if you are buying these wallets on things like Amazon or eBay, it is a heck of a lot easier for that scammer to get away with selling compromised hardware wallets. Never use a wallet. If you are initializing this device and it already has a passphrase on it or a PIN code, just throw it away. You don't want it. Don't touch it with a 10-foot pole. just move on and order the hardware wallet from the legitimate source that is ledger.com. So I will be providing my affiliate link for these Ledger wallets down in the video description. For those of you who would like to help support this channel, you can do that. I'm going to follow this up with my concerns for Bluetooth and mobile wallets, some things that this Ledger Nano X is enabled. And also, again, following up with that, I will be going over some really great tips, things that you can better utilize these Ledger wallets in ways that you might not know about. So for those of you who are ready to step up your game even more than just using a hardware wallet, stick around till the end. Again, check out those timestamps down below in the video description. Okay, so you can use this Ledger Nano X Bluetooth to pair it with your mobile device, or you can use it, your Bluetooth with your computer. I personally will never use those options. It's also probably why I haven't used the setup guide yet, just because I am very wary of any kind of a Bluetooth enabled hardware wallet. It definitely can open you up to hackers within a proximity of you who can pick up the signals of the transactions being signed. Ledger has addressed this concern regarding Bluetooth connectivity with a hardware wallet and sending cryptocurrencies. They said that they have designed it in a way that they have already assumed that their Bluetooth connectivity or Bluetooth signal has been compromised in a way that the thing that is being transferred from the hardware device to your mobile wallet or to your computer is the already signed transaction. Your private keys will never be transmitted via Bluetooth. It is locked into the device. But that being said, there has been a vulnerability disclosed. I believe I will have links to this down below in the video description if you want to read about it. But I believe that this particular vulnerability regarding the Bluetooth connectivity of the Ledger Nano X or any Ledger wallets that allow Bluetooth, it has been disclosed. I think it's concerning the mobile wallet side or the smartphone side, not anything that has been a vulnerability directly with Ledger. So they just say to make sure that you have updated your phone to the correct software update and your computer update and things like that, because most providers have enabled a patch to that vulnerability, but definitely still something to pay attention to, and definitely a reminder for myself and hopefully for you why I don't trust mobile wallets on my phone. I will never store a large amount or any kind of a super valuable amount of cryptocurrencies on my phone, just because they are very insecure when it comes to things like that. They're definitely easy to hack. But for those of you who are like me, that you are not interested, you can go ahead and just disable the Bluetooth ability on your Ledger Nano X device, and so you don't even have to worry about it, and you'll be connected by the cord, and then that's the old school way to do it. You know, it is kind of interesting thinking about using this hardware wallet device. Let's say like in a real world use case, you want to spend some cryptocurrencies using your hardware wallet and your phone. Let's say you are out in a shopping mall and they accept cryptocurrencies as a form of payment. Awesome. What you have to do is you still have to have your device nearby. You can't just because you have the Ledger Live app on your phone doesn't mean you can spend coins from your wallet, from your actual device. You will have your phone to have the QR code to scan, but you will still need to sign the transaction physically using the device. So it always will come back to that. So having a mobile wallet is okay, I guess. Maybe more so just, the app, just so you can like monitor your cryptocurrency funds. But when it comes to actually spending or receiving coins using your mobile wallet, you will still, maybe not receiving, but for spending, definitely, you will need to have access to your actual physical device. That means you would have to take your actual physical device with you wherever you go. Definitely not something I would recommend. It opens a door for this device getting lost or dropped or made public that you have one. So all things I think you should definitely be aware of and be wary of. So it's interesting they're trying to break into the mobile wallet, area, but not sure that they're there quite yet. Now we are getting into the interesting things that you can do with the Ledger Nano X, something that you might not know. For those of you who want to learn more, just want to soak up all the information that you can do with Ledger and stuff, I have a lot of links posted down below in the video description. These are the links I will be going over now briefly. Just, I think for those of you who are on this level, you can take this information and really run with it. Definitely go into the rabbit hole. Again, for those of you who think that your PIN might have been compromised or for whatever reason you'd like to change it, I went over that a little bit during the tutorial here today, but there's also a link to that showing how to do this as well. Also, if you want to have a backup device, what you can do is have two devices. I'm sure you can use the same with the Ledger Nano S, Ledger Nano X. You can use both of them as either one as a backup device for the other, because what you will be doing is importing your recovery phrase onto both devices. Now, this does not mean that you will automatically be doubling your holdings of crypto, but what it does mean is if anything were to happen to one device, you would have the other one already ready to go. And as long as your recovery phrase has not been compromised or lost, then that's a really easy kind of stress-free way to go about it in case you have lost your device or it's been damaged or whatever reason. Again, as long as you are quite 100% sure that your recovery phrase has not been compromised, you can go ahead and pretty quickly have a backup device ready to go. Again, I have linked a video up. If you see a little eye icon in the corner of this video, you can do a link for a recent video that I made on what you can do if your hardware wallet is lost, stolen, or damaged. Pretty much how to restore the device. It will be a very similar experience to how you first initialize the device that we did today. You will be importing your recovery phrase. As long as you have that, you can pretty much import your accounts right onto another device. Regarding that past video, I spoke about the difference between the actual hardware wallet, the recovery phrase, and the PIN code number that you have. So let's say that you have your device and you have your PIN code, like you can log into it, but you have no idea where your recovery phrase is and you are freaking out. Like you have no idea. It is gone. You think it might have been stolen. What you should do is check the balance of this hardware wallet device, or the device that you lost the recovery phrase for, and send the coins out. Because all you need to do, again, as long as you have access to the PIN and you have the actual hardware wallet device, this is in the case, again, if you don't have your recovery phrase, you can send all of your coins out onto third-party wallets. Hopefully you don't choose an exchange. A lot of people get these hardware wallets because they want to take their coins off of exchanges. And unfortunately, that might be your first initial option to do, is because they're already ready to go, pretty easy. So I'm not going to recommend that, but most likely that's probably what people are going to do. But what you should do right away is take your coins off of the device, all of your coins, make sure that they are all off, and then you can log out of plug and unplug your device. And then you can put in an incorrect PIN 3 times, and that will wipe your device. That will wipe away your recovery phrase. It will essentially be a brand new device after that. So what you will do then is initialize the device as a new device, which will generate a new recovery phrase for you, another 24 words for you to write down and keep. And that will be the new recovery phrase for that device. It'll be all set up. And then you can go ahead and send your coins back onto the device. So then you will once again have your recovery phrase, your your PIN and your coins all on your device. Again, for those of you who would like to add secret accounts onto your device, you can do that by adding an additional 25th word to your passphrase. You can do this using your device. I will have a link to this down below. This is for anyone who is very paranoid about the security of their recovery phrase. It's pretty much like what's called a brain key, because it's a word that you will hopefully be remembering. I mean, you can write it. It's your choice if you'd like to write it down in addition to your 24th recovery phrase. But the security here comes from the fact, again, that it was not generated by anything that has to do with Ledger. It has not ever been displayed on your device. It has been generated by you. So in that way, it is a lot more secure. Also, you can check out the quality of randomness, which is pretty much the Ledger security protocol, what makes their Ledger wallets secure. And for those of you who are looking for adapters for connecting your Ledger device, whether it's the Ledger Nano S, Ledger Nano X, or anything to something like your smartphone or your tablet, they provide links to adapters in their website also. So links to all of this information is found down below in the video description. Again, if you guys would like, if you're interested in checking this out, getting one for yourself, there are some pros and cons. But that is what it is. It's your decision to make. Of course, if you'd like to check it out and you would like to also help support this channel, I will provide my referral affiliate link thing down below in the video description. And I appreciate it if you use that. Never stop educating yourself, and definitely be as familiar with this kind of thing as you can before you start making moves. That way you can be sure of what you're doing, be more comfortable, and be a lot less likely to make a mistake. All right, so that wraps it up for today. I hope you guys have a good one.